Hello everyone and welcome to 5 Things, the show committed to bringing you the very best in video gaming facts. Now, I hope you're feeling froggy, because today we're jumping into a bona fide classic. Andy, best you interrupt me now because I'm just warming up in terms of god-awful puns.
Today's game is Frogger, in my opinion one of Sega's best games in the early 80s, universally loved by men and women.
That's right, it's Frogger. I told you we had a classic on our hands, so prepare yourself for some riveting facts as we begin our countdown in 3, and 2, and number 1. Most successful games receive sequels, and Frogger was no different. Unlike most games, however, Frogger actually has a number of different sequels that each use the title Frogger 2. To begin, there was Frogger 2 Free Deep, released in 1984, which was followed by Frogger 2 Swampy's Revenge in 2000. Last but not least was the simply titled Frogger 2 in 2008, a game released exclusively for Xbox Arcade, and whose reception was, well, muted to say the least. Number 2. In addition to a number of sequels, Frogger also inspired a huge amount of clones. Pacific Coast Highway, Preppy, and Frostbite were all titles released around the time of Frogger's original run, while the more recently released Crossy Road is also considered a clone of the original game. Interestingly, Sega, the publishers behind Frogger itself, created one themselves, Ribbit, which expanded upon the original game in terms of game modes and graphics. Number 3. While it might be the most famous, Frogger wasn't the only game released in 1981 themed around crossing the road. While Activision's game Freeway is often mistakenly assumed to be a mere clone of Frogger, the two titles were actually developed entirely independently of one another. While Konami had a frog crossing the road, Freeway went with the arguably more conventional chicken. I'd say the joke's on you, Activision. I'll leave now. Number 4. In 1998, the game was featured in an episode of seminal sitcom Seinfeld. While most games received merely a passing cameo when featured on TV, the entire episode's story was crafted around the game. In it, the show's George tries to move an original Frogger cabinet across a busy road, in a fitting homage to the game itself. Number 5. Parker Brothers were one of the many firms who obtained a license to produce domestic ports of Frogger, and used a sizable budget of $10 million to promote it and its video game adaptation of Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back. In comparison, only $6 million was spent on marketing the actual Empire Strikes Back movie. However, Parker Brothers ultimately shifted over 3 million copies of both games, proving it to be money justifiably well spent. Thank you as always for tuning in. Like, subscribe, and always remember to brush twice daily. We're on Twitter and Facebook, so please feel free to check us out on those platforms. And we've got an entire calendar filled with awesome events happening at Arcade Club itself, so keep your eyes peeled for announcements regarding that. If you have any suggestions for the next game you'd like us to cover, let us know in the comments. We'd be thrilled to hear what you're after. Until next time.